Seton says that he would rather find out why Bill Belichick benched Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl than he would the JFK assassination.
It's this close.
It's that close?
Yeah.
Okay, what is the greatest unanswered question in sports history? Paulie?
I would like to know if the NBA fixed the draft with Patrick Ewing, because if they did, they're geniuses, and I almost applaud them for it.
All right.
They've discussed it. David Stern, you talked to him about it. I could see it happening. If you're a league, remember
you didn't talk to David Stern too long about that topic.
No.
Just letting you know.
You made like a joke about it, and he joked back with you, and then the topic was broached.
Yeah,
but you didn't ask. Did you do it,
Todd? The greatest unanswered sports question of all time.
Maybe if they would have called a foul on Jordan for that little push-off with Brian Russell, how that would have changed. Not his reputation.
The greatest?
I didn't know you were going to ask me, so that's what I came up with.
But going back to the 85 thing with Ewing, the NBA was not the powerhouse it was. You know, I could see it.
Jordan didn't really push off, by the way.
Yeah.
Didn't have to.
Seton, you already have yours. Marvin, greatest unanswered sports question in history is?
I got to think about it.
We just talked about this during the commercial break. Why are you surprised?
I didn't know you were going to ask us.
What if C-Web didn't call that timeout that they didn't have? Hey.
That's not a mystery.
That's not a mystery. No,
it's not. Right. Todd, you don't get the question at all.
Oh, my God. The greatest unanswered sports question of all time might be Michael Jordan, why he went to play baseball.
Oh, that's a good one. Dang.
Fantastic.
I don't know how we stumbled on this, but we did. That's pretty much what we do every day. How did we stumble on that topic? The greatest sports mysteries in history. Let's see. Here's a website. Not sure the website here, if you know what the website is, Todd.
For greatest mysteries, campussports.net did something last September. They put something together.
Okay. Number 5. Greatest sports mysteries. Spygate.
No, we solved that already, but not a mystery for those of us informed.
Number 4. I didn't know this was a topic. Carl Lewis's alleged use of PEDs.
Ooh. Roll.
And the Rockets. Whoa.
Okay. Here is what you have to remember. This would all be well and good if Lewis himself wasn't also under fire for substance abuse. He had failed 3 drug tests prior to the 1988 Olympics, but because it was ruled inadvertent by the IOC, he was still permitted to compete. Let's see. Then they talk about that 1988 with Ben Johnson, the 100 meters. They called it the dirtiest race in history because of the alleged steroid users. Okay. Number 3, 1972 Immaculate Reception. So that was the ricochet that Franco Harris took in for the touchdown. But you couldn't have 2 offensive players touch the ball. So I guess the ricochet did it ricochet off a defensive player, Jack Tatum, I believe, and not Frenchie Fuqua, and then it went to Franco Harris. I think that was the big problem with it. Many people have noticed the peculiarity in this. The rule has since been changed that Pittsburgh went on to win. The rule was changed. Let's see, what else? Many people watching noticed that the pass was incomplete. Frenchie Fuqua even admitted in a post-game interview that he did initially touch the ball before it flew into the arms of his teammate. Nevertheless, the score stood, leaving one of the more controversial plays in playoff history.
Clearly, there's no review at the time, but if you watch the play again, I've got it online right now, when Franco goes to scoop the ball up, you can't see the bottom of his fingers and where his fingers, because the ball looks like it's almost hitting the turf as well.
I do think it's one of the greatest pieces of video ever captured that they focused on Franco Harris, and they had a singular shot of Franco Harris, getting the ball. Whether they had it, top to bottom where you could see the entire picture, okay. But the fact that they had a camera on him. And I always go back to Tony Dungy. When he was with the Steelers, he said Franco ran out every play, always all the way to the end zone and back. Always. And that helped them, win that playoff game against the Raiders because Franco was carrying out the play. The ball wasn't going to him. It was a pass over the middle. So the Immaculate Reception. Number 2 is Michael Jordan's retirement. Let's see. Main source of credibility for the rumor that the NBA was cracking down on Jordan for gambling. 1993 publication citing Jordan's gambling habits. However, others argue after his father passed away, his love for the sport died with him. Yeah, Paul.
This one never made sense to me because why would you want Michael Jordan out of the game for 2 years when instead you could just cover it up? Because they clearly covered it up if he was betting on basketball, which, that would be the only. If they found out he was betting on football, nobody would have cared. If they found out he was betting on the NBA in some fashion, that would have been a big, big deal. So they clearly covered it up if it was true.
He was just gambling.
Right, which is not a big deal.
He was playing poker.
They would have done nothing to make him leave the sport for 2 years.
The number 1 biggest sports question.
Kurt Schilling's bloody sock.
Oh, no. Nice try.
Great guess.
Yeah. 1973 is when this happened. I don't have any questions about this, but the 1973 Battle of the Sexes with Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs in the Astrodome, many speculated that Riggs intentionally threw the match. Many people cite the fact that Riggs had soundly defeated Margaret Court, the number 1 female tennis player in the world, just 4 months earlier in the Battle of the Sexes. Perhaps for the sake of giving more credibility to women's tennis, Riggs willingly allowed Billie Jean King to crush him. Also noted that Riggs lobbed up an unusual number of shots directly into King's red zone. Also, another theory, Bobby Riggs, a prominent gambler, had racked up some heavy debts, $100,000 worth. In order to shake the mafia from his back, he promised a spectacle up to Vegas's standards that would earn his creditors millions of dollars for betting against him. Numerous reasons for suspicion piled up against Riggs. He denied throwing the match. It remains one of the most widely contended events in sports history. A few on there that I didn't have any questions about, but now I do.